Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I'm going to go over a story titled, My Wife, a 42-year-old female, appears to be getting close to a coworker, a 29-year-old male. I'm hoping for advice in relation to what others would consider boundaries getting crossed. And a shout out to Nathan for sending in this story. And guys, this story is actually two parts. The most recent one came out 4 days ago. And let's just say there's trouble in paradise. This is about a husband and father, married 12 years to his wife. And lately, there's been a lot of red flags waving around. He's now inquiring about such red flags. His gut is telling him something's wrong. But of course, you're going to see she's acting like nothing's wrong at all. She's got an answer for everything, which is a bunch of crap. And there's two main themes in this story, guys, that I'll have you walk away with. Number one, or lesson, always trust your gut. If your gut is telling you something's wrong, listen to your gut. When there's red flags waving around, pay attention to that. And two, more importantly, the type of BS and lies and gaslighting and all this crap that cheaters usually do towards the husband, because that's usually what this is about. And you can't let that sway you and get you off track, because they pull this crap. It's unfreaking real, the type of stuff she does here. And you'll see how this whole thing progresses. So it starts off, says here, my wife, a 42-year-old female, and I've been together for 12 years and have 2 kids. Things are generally good. Sure about that, brother? Our relationship has had its ups and downs over the years, but more recently, things have been fine. My wife's workplace is quite social, and they have almost weekly after-work drinks and activities. The average age of the workplace appears to be in the early 30s. I've noticed my wife lately seems eager to keep up with the younger ones. That's a problem. That's early 30s. So we're talking, the late-stage millennials and all that, and she's trying to keep up with the young ones. No. She's a 42-year-old married woman and mother. I noticed that she seemed eager to keep up with the young ones. She has seemingly been putting more effort into her appearance and is always very eager to attend any social functions and comes home clearly having quite a few drinks. Interesting. Put this all together. Red flags. I've always encouraged her to be social, but lately I've noticed that she is communicating regularly with a younger male, 29 years old. He is a guy at her workplace. The guy's only 29 years old. I'll call him Adam. Well, he's calling him A in the article, but I'm not going to say A the whole article, so we're going to call him Adam. Yeah, not good. I got no problem with a woman in her 40s and taking care of herself. That's great. But when you put all the things together, and now you put Adam in the picture, this is not good. This is where the husband needs to lay out boundaries. She shouldn't be, yes, you attend work functions, because that's the crap you got to pull, obviously, depending on where you work. But obviously, she's way into getting the approval of the younger crowd. Well, during the last 2 social outings, Adam picked up my wife from home and dropped her off. No, not good. The last occasion was last week. My wife came home around 11:30 p.m. and was quite drunk. I will state that she did initiate loving between us, but while I trust my wife to be faithful, I can't help but think that there might be a slight infatuation going on in both directions between the two. I struggled a bit in the past with retroactive jealousy, which highly annoyed my wife. Retroactive jealousy? Well, probably because she was behaving in a way that caused you, rightfully so, to be jealous or have a problem. This is when you got to nip things in the bud. But she was annoyed? She was doing it on purpose. A married woman and mother should not be coming home drunk, okay? Like really drunk. That guy should not be picking her up. Why isn't a female employee at least picking her up and dropping her off, okay? Or how about Uber or something like that, right? My wife is very attractive, especially for her age. I'm aware she would receive attention from men. I'm also aware it is normal and human for her to enjoy this attention, while also still remaining faithful. I'm just not sure where the acceptable line is. I don't want to raise anything with her yet, as I would appear as controlling, jealous, or very insecure, which I know are very unattractive qualities. Dude, don't let potential shaming, and those are the usual shaming tactics, calling you controlling, insecure, and all that, to deter you from doing what's right. Okay? She's not behaving the way a mother and married woman should be. But now we're going to get into her bull crap here. I guess my suspicions were somewhat confirmed recently via methods I'm not proud of. While my wife was in the shower, I briefly snooped on her phone. Aha, here we go. It's always when she's in the shower and on the phone. You'd think women listen to this or will never take showers after all this. I quickly looked at the messages between my wife and Adam. They did appear to be fairly innocent, but slightly playful. But when I looked at the last messages between my wife and her best friend, my wife had recently sent a photo to her friend of Adam, along with a text saying, "This is Adam." Clearly my wife has spoken about the guy to her best friend. The photo was of this guy working out at the gym. It must have been taken via his socials. The fact that this photo was of this guy working out indicates to me that she may have mentioned him to her friend in a way that suggested he was good looking. Obviously they're talking about him, and he's one of these douches that has to take his own pictures of him working out. I can get guys doing that if they're trainers and they're using this to build, a business on their social media. But other guys that really get into posting pictures of them doing the curls and doing this and that, that says something. I know I'm going to get some shit for that, but that's just my opinion. I feel like I can't bring up anything with my wife, primarily due to not wanting to expose how I know she sent a picture of this guy to her friend. I know it's completely normal for her to find someone attractive and perhaps enjoy flirting. Dude, don't make excuses for her. I generally don't believe anything physical has happened, but I'm wondering what other options would be on where the line is crossed. Aside from my concerns, our relationship is actually in a good place at the moment. We've been having sex more regularly than normal. Yeah, probably because she's coming home with that guy, thinking about that guy and putting it on him. Or she's trying to distract him by love bombing him. On the weekend, she gave me a cuddle, told me she loved me, and actually started tearing up. Oh, for God's sakes. They can fake the tears. But I'm starting to wonder if the increased libido has any correlation to what appears to be a slight infatuation with this younger coworker. Any input from women would be greatly appreciated. Now, before I go into the update to what's really going on here, let me jump in here. Yeah, what's typical in these situations, and I've done countless stories on this, the wife's cheating, but she'll get very frisky with her husband to keep him distracted and not thinking anything's wrong. Because obviously if she isn't hooking up with him, he's going to start questioning things. Or also, they'll go home and hook up with her husband thinking of the guy, She comes home at 1 o'clock in the morning drunk and hooking up with him like you mentioned. Who was she with? That guy. You put all these things together, this is not good. And this is when this guy rightfully should be confronting her. But it shouldn't have gotten this far at all. Again, there are work functions that people have to attend. I get that, But there's a lot. She doesn't need to come home at 1 a.m. or even 11:30 on a school night when her kids need their mom and drunk. Come on. If she had a couple drinks, a little buzzed, if you will, and came home with a female coworker, fine. But even then. But this guy should not let this go. Now, let's see what's going on. And wait till you see the crap she pulls. Unfortunately, things have taken a turn. I've been taking some advice from the comment section of my original post. I decided to talk to my wife about being uncomfortable being driven home by a 29-year-old from social drinks with colleagues. Smack! I'm not smacking him for confronting her. I'm smacking him for saying I'm uncomfortable. Don't say that. Be a fucking man. Pick a better word. My wife dismissed any concerns I had, adding that she likes such and such as her friend only, and she treats him like a younger brother. I didn't mention anything about the phone snooping. Oh, what a load of crap. A friend? No. You put these all together, she's not behaving like he's a friend. That's what they all say. Oh, he's just a friend. There was a fucking song written about that. So I was surprised and happy when my wife volunteered that she sent photos of him to a friend. She mentioned apparently that they were discussing if he was suitable to set up with a younger female friend of theirs. My wife did add that she didn't want it to be the case that she is not allowing to have male friends. She is slick. Oh, I was just trying to hook up Jessica with Adam here, and I'm just sending a picture to the... She's smart enough to think a few chess moves ahead here, mentioning that, figuring that he may look in her phone. I explained I'm well aware and supportive of male friends, but I felt it was obvious from my perspective that this kid was interested in her, and she might be slightly naive in not saying this. Dude, she's not naive. She knows exactly what's going on here. Of course, this young guy's into her, and she's loving the attention and validation. Or dick. Perhaps inadvertently leading him on. Everything was fine, but I could tell my wife was perhaps slightly frustrated at my views. Yeah, and I want to point out something, guys. This guy's views are warranted. His questions are warranted. Situation was reversed. Think about this. If this dude was working with a 29-year-old girl who was very good looking, and they were texting back and forth, and she was picking him up, and he was coming home drunk, you think she might be a wee bit annoyed about the whole thing? You bet your ass. And you know what? It would be warranted. I'm fair here. I don't like cheating either way. But because it's the husband, controlling, insecure, that type of horse shit. Well, this occurred just prior to New Year's. I'll add that our sex life continued to be great, possibly the best in our entire relationship. What does that say, man? Again, she's trying to throw you off the tracks. This is until the weekend after New Year's when the following happened. My wife had planned a catch-up with the friend that she sent the picture of Adam with. As normal, I took care of the kids and waited for my wife to return home that night. She explained she was not going to have a big night. But then she returned home at 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay, here we go. Not going to have a big night, huh? She was dropped home from her female friend. She explained that after dinner, they knew some of her work girlfriends were out at a bar, so they caught up for a few drinks. My wife rattled on the names of some of the work girlfriends who were there. You know, all she had to say was just, oh yeah, we caught up with the work girlfriends and left it at that. She's adding too many details here. That's a classic sign of a lie. Well, at the time, I didn't think anything of it. My wife wanted sex, and I was happy to oblige. Yeah, who do you think's on her mind? However, it was after having sex that I first noticed something was off. My wife went back to rambling about the names of the girls that she met up with. It seemed quite odd to me. As though I'm rambling, there was something that she was drawing attention from. Well, I waited until she was back in the room, and I asked, was Adam there? She paused uncomfortably and said he was, but only for a short time before leaving. Uh-huh. There you go. What happened to girls' night? Just her friend, she's coming home early, and all of a sudden, now explains why she was out to 1 o'clock in the morning. And the work friend, so she didn't mention Adam. Uh-huh. It's all for her friend to fix her friend up with. Bullshit. Well, she added that she had no idea he was going to be there. Uh-huh. Pinocchio's nose growing here. I pointed out to her that she conveniently left his name out of the people she met up with. So I said to her that I didn't believe her. I asked if this guy texts her, and even asked to see his message. As though she had nothing to hide, my wife quickly showed her messages. The last messages were from Adam, and showed the two of them discussing which bar they were meeting at. I pointed out that this directly contradicted what she had just told me. She elaborated by saying that she had no idea that he would be out until she received the message from him. Sure, sweetheart. Again, your fucking nose is growing. She further added that when she first heard that he was out, she was happy, as the younger girl she was hoping to set him up with would also be there. Look, I know girls like to play matchmaker. They do. But no one gets this giddy over it. Come on here. And by the way, guys, I want to mention something else here. Maybe some of you thought of this. How do you know she's not communicating him via another app? Whether it's on Instagram or Snapchat or any other fucking thing. WhatsApp, whatever. Or she has another phone. Well, I left out of that, but dwelling on it all night, I woke up feeling like she had completely and deliberately deceived me. Trust your gut. I told her this and added that it's completely dishonest to suggest to me that she had no idea this guy would be at the bar. I know all the girls from her work were there, and it appears they do socialize in a group. But the messages which were organized in the meeting location were between Adam and my wife. In my view, this shows that Adam was there primarily to meet up with my wife. Of course, it's not that hard to connect the dots here. Okay, she's going out for girls' night and reaches out to him, and he can show up, and, And by the way, guys, let's not forget that a lot of women cover for each other, and they feel it's justified. She could probably make up some bullshit story how her husband, this guy here, is controlling and insecure, and it's a bad marriage, and they're probably encouraging her to do this. Well, since this has all gone down really pear-shaped, my wife changed the pin on her phone that night. Uh-huh. I'm sleeping in the spare bedroom, and it seems our relationship is over. No kidding. And guess what? Guess who it's from? I'm being blamed for blowing up our relationship due to lack of trust and jealousy. Oh, he's the bad guy, huh? All this is typical cheater behavior. Twisting it around, he's the bad guy here. Look what she's doing. But I'll get back to that. She pointed out that her work friends laughed at hearing my suspicions because of how ridiculous that they are. Oh, she's talking about their marriage with her work friends. That's not cool. I'm portrayed as the jealous and controlling husband to her friends and family. My wife said the only reason that she wasn't directly forthcoming about him being there is because I read into things too much and that she didn't want to ruin the chance of having sex when she got home. Well, she was having sex someplace else. At this stage, my wife feels we should stay in the house together for the next few months for the sake of the children until we work out what's happening. Now, I know that Reddit audiences seem to love and encourage people to break up, but it feels like maybe my wife is right. Smack! Are you nuts? Come on, bro. Maybe my jealousy is too much. I'm old, and I'll never find someone who I love like my wife. Smack! You're 42, asshole. 42. I'm 6 years older than you. If I wanted to find love, I'm sure I could. Not that I believe in that. It's a fucking fairy tale, but come on here. I don't want anybody else. Smack! You want this? Someone that lies to you and cheats on you? But when the trust is gone, I just lie down and take it. Do I just lie down and take it? I've been cheated on before, and maybe that does make me jealous. I'm lost and incredibly upset. Smack! Dude, you gotta smack it. Snap out of it. That's what I meant to say. Bro, number one, you're not old. You're 42. You got plenty of years to go, all right? I'm older than you, and I don't think I'm old. Number two, your wife is an asshole. She is obviously, at the very least, dismissive of you. Not a good mother and wife given her behavior. Very shady. Talks about your marriage to other people when she should be talking to you. Turns around, makes you out to be the villain here. And at worst, she's hooking up with that guy regularly, comes home to you, and has been passionately hooking up with you just to throw you off her trail or thinking of him the whole time, amongst many other things, okay? This is not a good situation. Where there's smoke, there's fire. This is a full-blown wildfire here, my man. So you need to snap out of it and don't let yourself be brainwashed by her bullcrap. This behavior, what she's doing, is classic cheater behavior. Dismissing what a guy thinks, labeling him insecure and controlling and all that crap. They all say the same things from the Hobag Handbook. Then they make you out to be like you're imagining things and crazy, and then they start telling everybody else how crazy you are and controlling and insecure and all that, making you seem like the bad guy here, and then of course making you have to be the problem. She's saying, well, we have to split up now because he's just so controlling. And what will happen is if this guy goes down this path and buys into her crap, then she's going to stay out later at night, stay out more frequently, because if you, God forbid, speak up for yourself, you're going to ruin the marriage. Basically, you behave like a good little boy for me, or I'm walking out. That's not love. That's not somebody that cares about you. And again, I'll come back to what I said earlier. If the situation was reversed, and he was out with some other girl and some female coworker who's younger than him and dropping him off and coming home drunk and meeting up with her, she just happens to meet up with the friends and showing pictures of her. You don't think she'd have a problem with that? You bet. And he'd be the bad guy. And all her friends would say he's the bad guy. But because it's the guy here, this is the crap that he pulls. So, brother, hire a fucking PI. Have him spy on her. Talk to a lawyer. Find out your options. I know you want to get divorced. I know you want to break up a family. But guess what? You're not breaking up the family. She is. Notice her immediate knee-jerk reaction is to say basically we're separating over this. Right? I wouldn't put it past her to use this opportunity to divorce you, take you to the cleaners, and go hook up with this guy. But the funny thing is, I guarantee this guy is just having the thrill of the cougar, because he said she's good looking for her age, and she's married, and probably when he's done banging her, he'll move on, and that'll be that. And then she'll probably be trying to get back with this guy. This is not going to work. This is not love. And for God's sakes, man, your girl isn't your whole world. See, you can't love anybody else like her. Come on here. She's not lovable. So that's what I think. But anyhow, guys, my point here is all the crap they pull and stuff like that, watch out for it. And trust your gut. His gut was right. There's stuff going on. But I really think he needs a PI to really do some digging here. Now, I'm going to read some comments here because the whole comment section is full of people thinking the same thing. One guy says here, she changed her pin the night you proved she lied about her night out and her boy toy being there. That's pretty damning evidence against her bullshit story. She was out drinking with him till 1 a.m., and she got so turned on by him, she jumped your bones as soon as she got home. See? I'm not the only one thinking this. She was thinking about him the entire time she was doing you. She got ahead of you on controlling the narrative and painted you as the villain. Classic cheater behavior. Let's be honest, this is at least an emotional affair, and she's using it to blame shift and throw the spotlight off her unfaithful actions. Here's what you do. Stay in the house in separate bedrooms as you are doing. See a lawyer and have divorce papers drawn up. Don't worry, you don't have to have them if you don't want to use them. And have her served at work during a busy time of the day. Turn your phone off, let her twist in the wind all day with no way to contact you. He also says this woman here clearly has little to no respect for you, and she needs to understand how serious you are while having the strength to stand up for yourself. Then when she finally comes home, you'll be in a good position to handle things as you see fit. Well, that's great and all, but whether he has the spine and backbone to do that, I don't know. But, yeah. Another one, this guy says, nah, dude, she's controlling the narrative by recruiting her side to bash you. She wanted to get frisky with you that night out of guilt, or more likely because whatever she got up with him, physically or emotionally, got her all riled up. Changing her pen, having no qualms about sleeping separately, rather than to try to use it to paint you as insecure and petty, is not a good sign. She knows she's in the wrong, and we'll all know she probably has done some undisclosed wrong, but she has all the ammo and motivation to not be the bad guy now that she's deep and committed to the Darvo tactic. Get a PI and dig up whatever the heck she's been up to before your entire social image is destroyed. This guy needs to control the narrative because she's already doing it. And one more. It says, my honest thoughts here, she fucked him. Or they definitely did something when they met up. She had sex with you to try to cover it up or distract you. She's gaslighting you and trying to manipulate you. You're not being jealous and insecure. Your wife is straight up acting shady because she literally is cheating on you. Her changing the pen is the answer, honey. Consult an attorney at your earliest convenience. They will guide you through the next steps of the process of divorce. Stop dismissing and minimizing your own feelings. You shrinking yourself isn't going to make her stay. She made her choice. Choose yourself and protect your kids. Well, unfortunately, he's going to think protecting his kids is staying with her and put up with that crap. If he stays with her, guys, if you think it's bad now, the disrespect now, it is going to get a whole lot worse. And from her perspective, she's in a win-win situation if you think about it now. If they get divorced, she wins because the odds are she'll get the house. She'll probably get the majority custody of the kids. She'll get alimony and all that. And she'll be free to be a strong, empowered woman and hook up with different guys. Or if he stays with her, he'll be so afraid that she'll divorce him that she'll continue doing what she's doing, making it even worse, probably throwing it right in his face. And that's that. So I think the guy just frankly needs to control the narrative, get a lawyer, get a PI, get the dirt, and divorce her, take the hit in the short term, and move on. Because she is not behaving like someone that loves him. This is just a bad situation. But for God's sakes, he's got to control the narrative. But he needs more dirt on her. And she's not dumb. Clearly, she's not. He needs a PI to have some solid evidence, not necessarily for the courts, because the courts may not care, because they may be in a no-fault state, but at least convincing family and friends who she's definitely dragging his name through the mud. But anyhow, guys, there you go. Perfect example. Trust your gut. It's always right. And the type of crap they pull. So in case you're in a situation like this and you see similar behavior to this, you'll know what's going on. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.